Preeti, tell me about your business.
So I do two things. So I am a business coach and a consultant by day and a children's book author by night. So on my business coaching front, um, my ideal client is a solopreneur or a very small business whose business is growing. They have a business which is scaling, but then it's still working in the founder mode, but the founder is the one doing everything. So I come in and help them with one, that clarity, the mindset of letting go, and then help them identify the right kind of systems and the right human support that they need to scale sustainably without burning out. And when I talk about systems, I start with like creating SOPs, like downloading the process that lives in the founder's head into a document, all the way to maybe a CRM or a HRIS platform, depending on the business needs. And the same goes with the human support. Are they ready for their first hire, or even if it's a contractor, who is the person they are hiring, and help them design that role. My background is about 15, 16 years in the corporate world across India, UK, and now in Canada, in operations, HR, and senior executive support. And right, so that's my core business. But then, like I said, on the side, I also do write children's books. It started off as me writing them for my own children, sharing stories with them. I have two series. One is more based on the Indian Hindu mythology. That's where my ethnic background is from. And my second series is more value based. So I do have three books in them now, one on patience, one on honesty, and one on the false sense of perfection.
I have so I'm automatically drawn to the children's books, even though I have less than one child. Um, the patience thing. Like it's very hard even for me, and I'm pushing 50 to understand patience. Like I am not a master of patience. I have to
Hmm.
practice it all the time. But even like when I got out of the military, I watched my sister's kids, and their concept of time was just like they had no concept of time. Like, hurry up, get in the car. They moved at the same pace as get in the car at the normal time. So,
Hmm.
how do you approach that?
And I think also, like for children, especially like nowadays, right? Like the concept of patience is becoming even more difficult because it's this instant gratification world that we are living in. Right? Like, I want this, and you immediately get this the same day or the next day. You want to see something, and you can immediately go online on some platform and you can see it. So they're not used to the concept of waiting. I think at least we did do some waiting growing up, but with the current generation, I think it's even more difficult. So the way I kind of speak about it in the book is more from like both aspects. Like instead of telling them that patience is a rule or something that they have to follow, trying to portray it as a superpower or something that will help them, kind of thing. So that's one. And the second thing, like also in the book, is I kind of talk from the child's point of view. Like I have a 5-year old, so when it comes to asking her to wait for something that she likes, it's a huge process, right? Like for them, they 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 get frustrated. They are internally questioning themselves, like, why should I wait? Why should I really wait about these things? So the kind of frustration and the thought process that goes inside their mind. So I've kind of written the story from that point of view also, like how does a child actually feel when they have to wait for something. And like you said, I think inspiration from most of these books came from my own children. And yeah, learning patience, I think, is a work in progress for both me and the children. So we're all, yeah, working towards it.
Well, that's a hard thing for me to and I think learning from your kids is a best way to explain it. I learned
Mm.
so much from watching my sister's kids. But even like I oh gosh, getting my brother talks to me about getting his kids ready for school or school on time. And we're late has no like they don't understand that, or then like he'll promise them X at the end of the school year. And this will
Hmm.
be like at Christmas. And I'm like, that's like forever off to them. That's like
Yeah.
someday. And it's just a concept that's really obtuse. And I remember feeling like sixth graders were adults. And now I'm pushing 50, and that's not my reality anymore. And it's hard to navigate. how people conceive those things. And I mean, it's very different from person to person. And I mean, even now, I schedule an appointment in January, in June, and I think, oh, it's forever off. And then it's like, oh, I get a text reminder and it's like, oh, that's tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird how that happens. It's weird how,
And I think like for children, especially like you said, it's one is if it's forever after, they're not going to remember it or they're not going to be bothered about it. And the second thing I also find with my children is like when it comes to events like school or certain classes or certain activities, if it is something that they enjoy, they want to go to, they would get ready on time for those. It's the things that they don't really care is where we have to do more of the pushing and we have to do that. And still they're like, oh, I don't care if I'm late. So like I think like that, like I keep telling my kids, like with my son, like even from a very small age, he always loved going to school. So if he doesn't get up in the morning when I go wake him up and I'm like, sure, you want, you can sleep, I'll just call in and say you're not coming to school. He'll immediately be off the bed because he's like, no, I want to go to school. Right. But then, like with my daughter, she's like, eh, okay, no, but give me 5 more minutes, give me 2 more minutes, because she doesn't have that push to like, no, I want to go. So I think, yeah, I think it's like, even with us, right? Like, I think if you're passionate about it, if that's something you like, you enjoy, you would do things to get there on time. You would do things, but then,
well, it's like Fitz was talking about his daughter being like math isn't it? I'm an engineer by trade, right? I have a minor in mathematics, but I remember not being good at math and being frustrated by being confused. I wasn't good at math until math no longer was numbers. It was like, when it became like a you do this or X solve for Y, then I was all about it. But when it was times tables and multiplication, long division seems is like the hardest thing ever. But I think it's like that, like I just that cognitive friction or friction that like any part of you can just
Mhm.
like affect you on such a level.
Yeah. No, so like and like with my books also, that's what I'm trying to do is like for especially with my daughter, when I see the way she learns or the way she picks up things, it's like if it's a character she likes or if it's a book and a person in the book that she likes, when she is in a similar situation in the real world, she sometimes tends to do what that character did. And then sometimes she tells me, Mom, in that book, that person did that, and that's why I did this today. I feel like at that age, they learn better that way rather than like me telling her, no, this is how you have to do, or this is how you have to react in this situation. That kind of goes over the head. But then if they can relate to something or somebody they like, they seem to want to do it.
I think I was that way. Like I got through 19 and 20 being Elizabeth Bennet. I mean, that's, I mean, whatever. Jane Eyre,
Yeah.
Elizabeth Bennet, whatever. I took on different personas. Because I
Yeah.
read a lot. I'm amazingly nerdy.